Hi, Pisces Sun and Rising. Welcome to your December 2022 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So, your ruler, Neptune, goes direct on December 3rd, and this may bode well for you in terms of your idealism returning. Because when Neptune goes retrograde, it can leave people um, with a greater sense of reality, but that can be accompanied by disillusionment because wherever Neptune is transiting in your chart, that is an area that's being covered in a mist or a fog. And sometimes that can mean that it feels very confusing, this area of life, or it can feel kind of mystical and like beatific. So in your case, because Neptune has been transiting in your sign, this is going to be the first house of the self. But it is important to note that this is a general forecast, and for some of your charts, this might be Neptune might have been in the 12th house for a while, not the first house, even when it was in Pisces. So anyway, but I'm just making it less complicated for me, trying to figure all that stuff out. So in the first house of the self, when Neptune is retrograding, the person may feel like all of the things that they have kind of imagined about themselves, they see the cold, stark truth, and it can feel like it's being stripped bare, like all of those illusions. And this may, relate to how you conduct yourself, how you carry yourself, um, just your life in general. And it may have been, in some cases, a bit of a bummer if there were some things that you were really looking forward to and they kind of didn't pan out. And this would be in the last several months. I don't know when Neptune went retrograde, to be honest with you. I think the transit is usually about 4 months or, so, but I can't remember. But now that it's direct, you're going to be much more like your typical Piscean self. And, you know, this can be good for you carrying yourself with that extra oomph of the mystical, the whimsical, and that can have its own seductive quality. People who have, like, for instance, Neptune, I was going to say Neptune rising, but Pisces rising, or Neptune in the first house, or things like that, or even with the sun in Pisces, these kinds of people may give an off an aura that is very mysterious, ethereal, and people find it very appealing on some level. So this kind of comes back to you. On the 6th, Mercury goes into Capricorn, and for you, Capricorn is your 11th house of hopes and wishes. So there's more idealism there. Mercury is about you kind of listing all of the things that you want to accomplish, because when you have the new moon here, according to the late astrologer Jane Spiller, you're supposed to make new moon wishes. And I think she had like 40. And I tried to do that one time and I was like, I didn't get to I don't even know if I got to 20, because some of us don't have a whole bunch of desires. Some people do, and they could easily create that list of 40 things. But anyway, the point is to dream big. And Mercury is the first step in that because it has that logical angle to it. And this is all also about just straight up communication. So the 11th house can be your circle of friends, the associates that you have, And you may just feel this sense of wanting to connect with these people more. On the 7th, which is the next day, there is a full moon at 16 degrees of Gemini. Gemini is a mutable sign like you, Pisces. So it's, one of your angular houses. In this case, the house of home and family. Full moons can bring something to a closure, or like a completion or a height. So it can be like two totally different things. For some people, they may be ending their living arrangement. If you have been living in an apartment, maybe you're going to look for a new one, or a house, you're going to put a house on a market. But it can also be on the internal level, because this is the house of childhood, where you really let go of something that has bothered you, that happened when you were young. The 4th house can be the mother, so you may hear some news about your mother. There's some kind of culmination there, or what do they call that? Like closure. So if your mother is still with you, there may be you're hearing news about her. And it can also be, in some extreme cases, if you have to let go of that relationship altogether because you finally have had enough. And it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back, if you will. And of course, it can be very emotional because this is a water house. This is Cancer's domain. So it has your water sign as it is. So that can be very sentimental, whatever is going on. On the 9th, Venus goes into Capricorn. So Venus is going into the 11th house. The 11th house is the house of gains. So that can be really good for career profits, money from your work, and also for love connected to your friends or the groups that you belong to. You might meet a kindred spirit. On the 20th, Jupiter goes back into Aries. So Jupiter was in your sign, Pisces, with Neptune in that first house, and now it's going into your second house of earned income. So that looks very good for money because of that, the fact that Venus is in the 11th house, in the house of gains as well. This is one of those situations where you have like a double whammy of sorts. Jupiter going into that second house can be good for your self-esteem as well. You can feel good about yourself for some reason. On the 21st, we have the winter solstice. And this is when the sun goes into Capricorn. And again, this social area is featured for you with this particular transit. There's something very social about you in this month with the Capricorn energy, Pisces. On the 23rd, there's a new moon here at 1 degree of Capricorn. It might be that a lot of you are actually having this in your career sector, the 10th house, so that would be good. But either way, I do think like networking can be helpful for your career, and that might be something that you figure out, and that is boding well for you in terms of what it is that you're trying to accomplish, because you may find that you need other people to achieve your goals for some reason. But even with your social life, December is already a time when people tend to go to holiday parties and things, but you're going to be probably taking it to a whole new level. And joining new groups, being a part of making new connections, in other words. On the 29th, Mercury goes retrograde in this same area at 24 degrees of Capricorn. So watch out for any I was going to say falling out with friends because of some kind of communication issues. It doesn't mean that it's going to be like a straight up war with them, but there might be something that is not quite clear, and therefore it creates some kind of misunderstanding. Mercury retrograde can be about technology, and the 11th house can be technology, such as the internet. So, if you have any plans to buy any kind of computer or anything, you might want to wait until Mercury goes direct, but it's up to you, I suppose. I think I have bought things during Mercury retrogrades, and it's not always problematic. But it may be rethinking some of the friends that you have, because you've had triggers to your career sector recently, and that might be something that is kind of a barrier keeping you from your career matters if you have friends that are not in alignment with your goals as a whole. Because if you're trying to better yourself and other people are not really encouraging that, then you might realize, hey, this isn't really good for me, and I'm going to go through this list and look at it. Now, you've had Pluto in this area, and this is Pluto's last gasp in the next few months at later degrees of Capricorn. So the reason this is such a big deal is that critical degree, that 29th degree that Capricorn will be getting at, I don't know exactly when. I'm assuming it's going to be around February or so, or maybe early March. That is the degree that contains all of the information of that transit. And it's all about your sense of empowerment as it relates to other people. A lot of Pisces can get easily influenced by the company that they keep. And yet you may have been influencing others for some reason too. So it's not necessarily a one-way street. So anyway, that's what I have for you, Pisces. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings, which are a great value. An hour of natal chart analysis with an hour of transits. It's called my deep dive reading. I have other readings. You can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.